we may have justice for Shanquella. Looks like Daejhanae has been finally arrested. So more details on that. Hey everyone, Powering True Crime Alex here. And I wanted to share a few things about Shanquella that I thought was amazing. First off, I wanted to shout out to Black Twitter that has raised a ton of awareness for this case, that has put the heat on, that has, had difficult conversations, that has really hasn't stopped making this a priority. So shout out to Black Twitter for that, and amazing information you can find, and other creators that are putting this front and center. Secondly, I wanted to just talk about Shanquella. I look at her Instagram, and this is the reason that I'm covering Shanquella. I have a pretty tight set of people that I like to cover. And usually I prefer to cover young women, entrepreneurs, women who have big dreams, and also teen girls, because I feel like that's it's really young women who are starting to live their lives, who may or may not be already in college or professionals, but who really are starting their lives, who either go missing or are no longer with us. And I want to share their stories. I want to bring light to their stories, and also, use this opportunity to see how we can advocate for them, maybe find some learning lessons. And I love that Shanquella was she owned a boutique. She owned this boutique Exquisite. She was very successful. I mean, I don't know how much money she made, but she appeared to be very successful just based on her social media. And, she was beautiful. She was obviously very smart, and just a really, appears to be just a wonderful person. And, she's here, she's modeling looks like she's modeling some of the fashions. A busy girl, a paid girl, a blessed girl. And so I just wanted to make that tribute to Shanquella, and just, we shouldn't forget what a beautiful soul that she is. And, prayers of peace for her. We'll just give a moment of silence for her and her family. Now let's get into this breaking news. First off, I wanted to give a shout out to Down the Rabbit Hole News, Alex, who I heard this from first. And I have a communications, journalistic, publicist background, so I do like to talk about or cover news. And she was the first one that I saw covering the news, which was a story, an article by oh gosh, his last name, his first name is Gerardo, and I can't remember his last name now. Let me see if I can find it here. Okay, I can't find it, but I will add it in this article in the description. And it says, breaking news, Daejhanae Jackson is arrested in the United States. So let me back up, because Daejhanae was actually, there was a warrant for her arrest about a week ago in connection with the death of Shanquella. And Shanquella is a Charlotte, North Carolina woman who was killed while vacationing in Mexico, according to a Mexican prosecutor. And the prosecutor is called Daniel de la Rosa Anaya. Let me make this a little bigger. He's a prosecutor for the state of Baja California Sur, and he told ABC a friend of Robinson's, who is a direct aggressor, is being sought by international authorities on charges of femicide. So Daejhanae has been charged with femicide of Shanquella. And he said, this case is fully clarified. We even have a court order. There's an arrest warrant issued for the crime of femicide to the detriment of the victim and against an alleged perpetrator, a friend of her who is the direct aggressor. De la Rosa Anaya told ABC News. Actually, it wasn't a quarrel, but instead a direct aggression. And I'm not going to play it here, but there is a video that shows that she was being hit pretty badly by what appears to be Daejhanae. This is Shanquella was beat up by Daejhanae. And there was another person who was filming who, first of all, wasn't doing anything to help her, was filming, and who's actually shouting at her, to defend herself, to do something about it. And so I'm not sure what's going to happen to them, but at the very least, we have one person who had an arrest warrant. And let's go to this. That was from WSOC TV. And then as of yesterday, we had this breaking news from Metropoli, Mexico. And this is the article by Gerardo that says, breaking news, Daejhanae Jackson arrested in the United States. Daejhanae was placed in federal custody, waiting for her to begin her extradition process to Mexico. And it says, San Jose del Cabo, Baja California Sur. During the night of November 28th, Daejhanae Jackson was arrested by Interpol agents after a control judge issued an arrest warrant against her for the crime of femicide of Shanquella Robinson, murdered on October 29th in the Cabo Villas complex in this tourist destination. Daejhanae Jackson was placed in federal custody, waiting for her to begin her extradition process to Mexico, where she will be formally accused of the femicide of the 25-year-old businesswoman. The extradition process took between 1 and 2 weeks, resulting from the procedure that the Attorney General's Office of Justice carried out in the Attorney General's Office of the Republic, and this in turn to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Mexico. The Attorney General's Office of the State of Baja California Sur managed to prove that the woman who appears in the video attacking Shanquella Robinson is precisely Daejhanae Jackson, as MexipoliMx reported at the time. And it says here, MexipoliMx is preparing a special report that will be published in full in the next few hours. Let's see if there's anything here. Okay, so this is the reporter. His name is Gerardo Zuniga, or if you say that in English, is Gerardo Zuniga. So I happen to be Hispanic, so I'm always going to default to saying it in the Spanish way. So it says here, well, it doesn't look like there's anything new. Actually, let's check here. Let's check from Gerardo and see if there's anything new. So this is the one that it links to. And then this is what he posted, which basically already tells us what we know during the night. So nothing new here. So let's go back to the article. It's interesting because this is a Spanish language newspaper or publication. However, they started with English because they know that this is a big deal for the US market. And it actually was translated to English from either somebody internally or they have somebody else. And so this was the previous article that they had. Let's go here. This was posted on the 16th of November, and it's in Spanish. Let's see if there's a translation. If not, I'll just kind of do a quick translation myself. No, that doesn't look like. So it sounds like asesinan a golpes a joven extranjera en Puerto Los Cabos. So it's murder by beating of a young extranjera is tourist or foreigner in Puerto Los Cabos. So what's interesting is that I was reviewing some of the Spanish language media, and back then, starting with this reporter, Gerardo, they were actually covering this as a murder. Asesino, asesinar, that this word means murder, homicide. And so while we were over here in the States wondering, hey, was this an actual murder, or was Shanquella, did she die from alcohol poisoning, as her friends allegedly reported to her family? All of this information was coming out. We didn't really know what was happening. And it appears that the Mexican media was already covering it like a murder. Like they were already positioning it as that. So it sounded like that was the way that the Mexican viewpoint was taking this, like that it was a murder. And in fact, what they call it a femicide. And so whenever a woman is murdered in Mexico, it's referred to as femicide, and it's treated like slightly differently than a regular murder, a regular homicide. So I thought that was very interesting. And so that video definitely made this more of a, really put it into light that this was an actual homicide or murder. It says here, cuando la joven Shanquella Robinson Brenda cayó al piso sentada, suplicaba por su vida, pero la agresora no tuvo piedad alguna, por lo que todavía le pegó más de 10 puñetazos y finalmente rodillazo en la cara. So it says here that even when Shanquella when she fell and she was sitting on the floor and she was asking for her life, she was pleading for her life, the aggressor had no mercy, and she still hit her or beat her 10 more times, and finally she got a kick to the face. So that was very interesting and obviously unfortunate. But yeah, this is how the local reporter for MexipoliMx is covering this. And so it's good news is that Daejhanae, who is known as the aggressor, has been arrested. She was arrested by Interpol, and that was on the evening of the 28th, which was Monday. So I'm assuming that she's either going to be flown in or has already flown to Mexico, awaiting, awaiting additional processing for the charges of femicide against Shanquella Robinson. So would love to hear your thoughts. Do you feel like justice will be served for Shanquella? Do you believe that the friends who were potentially accessory to this femicide should be charged? What are your thoughts? I would love to hear what you think of this. And are we missing any other important details that you feel might be important for this story? With that, I'd appreciate if you like this video, leave a comment if you have any thoughts on this case or anything that you feel like might be relevant to this case. And if you like my style of empowering true crime updates, I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my channel and ring the bell notification so that you get notified each time I post any breaking news or any updates on this or other true crime cases. With that, stay safe and stay thriving, my friends. Have an empowered day. Bye-bye. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell button for notifications. Thank you.